Hi everyone, it's Ash from FPL Hints, here with my team selection ahead of Leg 2 in UCL Fantasy for the playoffs. As always, if you're able to like, share and subscribe, that would be greatly appreciated. So have a quick check-in with how Leg 1 went, then look at the first team and the moves I'm looking to make, and I'll go straight into actual team selection. So for those that tuned into the previous video, the last moves I made from my first draft to the updated draft to the final draft, the last moves I made really included taking out Haaland to get Vinicius Jr. and also to take out Bellingham and to get Foden in. And ultimately, on the whole, Foden got me 4 points, but I decided to sub him. Vinicius Jr. got me 11 points, but then, of course, Haaland and Bellingham combined, I think collectively got slightly more points. In fairness, I got lucky with Vinicius Jr. even getting 11 points because he got a couple of assists and he got the player of the match bonus. You got Harry Kane against Celtic, again, very highly owned player. Was expecting more from him from the points side, but ultimately Dembele as captain. When I bought him, he was 5% owned, and I see that his ownership has skyrocketed since my previous draft iterations. So happy that the captaincy worked on him. But then on the whole, quite a few disappointments with Kim, didn't play at all. And of course, Bayern Munich didn't keep a clean sheet, so no real losses there. Then Musiala, 2-pointer, bit of a disappointment. Got Pulisic against Feyenoord, another disappointment there as well. But then ultimately a bailout through Dembele, Schlotterbeck, Hakimi, Gatti, Guirassy as well, with the double-digit hauls there. So 87 points. Again, upward trajectory in terms of points scored. One of my better match days in UCL Fantasy this season. So looking to build a platform and kick on in leg 2. And just coming on to the bust team before I actually make the transfers, I'm going to confirm it by date. I've already sorted out my bench so that Barcola, Schlotterbeck, Gatti, and Di Gregorio are on the bench. And again, Barcola, I've not mentioned him with how it went in the previous match day, but disappointed with the blank, so could be worthy for potentially getting dropped. I'll have a think on that. Got Vinicius Jr. up top, Guirassy and Kane. Ideally, with the form that Haaland is in, I'd almost certainly want to get him in, but then who would he drop from those three? We got Vinicius Jr. at home, got Guirassy with the form that he's in, and then Harry Kane against Celtic at home. Musiala, I'd have to stick with him now for this playoff phase. I think Dembele, who I will obviously retain, but 18th of Feb, almost certainly it's going to be Harry Kane for the captaincy armband. So I'll just confirm that now. I think Foden is a massive question mark for me, and I'll just show that in this screen here. But you can see that his form has completely just dipped as a whole across all competitions. That in his last half dozen games, he's just had that one goal against Chelsea. Of course, different competitions are factored in here with the Premier League, FA Cup as well, alongside the Champions League. But I can't really justify keeping him. Probably mistake in having him over Haaland, but he didn't even start ultimately as well, so that was a bit frustrating. So I am willing to consider getting rid of Foden. And then the other player that I'm potentially looking to drop is Pulisic. I know he had some injury issues a few weeks ago, and ultimately, in his last 5 games, he's only picked up 2 assists across all competitions. And if you just go further back, it's kind of like his good start to the season has dried up as a whole. So probably could potentially drop him as well. And in terms of the players that I'm looking to get in, again, more so on the fixtures rather than form, you look at Bellingham. Of course, he got the red card in La Liga over the weekend. he has been picking up the goals eventually after a slower start to the season. Of course, he was in the final of the Euros, so perhaps it took a bit of time to get traction once again. Scored against Man City at the Etihad. Again, that match could go anyway. It was almost like a basketball match in leg one, so I could potentially consider getting Bellingham in. And then the other player, I'd want to get extra buy-in cover. And I think with Elise, he has been a bit hit and miss. But with him, I'm potentially willing to consider him if I haven't got the funds available. I mean, who else could I really get from Bayern Munich other than Musiala, who I already got, Kane, who I already got? Not even sure about Sane's situation, but with Elise, he is getting the regular starts. And yeah, at times he might get benched here and there, but I think he is worth consideration. So that's what the mode of thinking is at this moment in time. So just coming back to the actual team itself. So I think very likely Foden will have to go for me. I won't really touch the defence. I think Kim, Hakimi, Hernandez, I think they can all stay. And then got the subs for the 19th of Feb. Pulisic potentially could drop as well. I think Barcola playing on the 19th of Feb. Got to give him some consideration potentially. But yeah, if I'm going to sell two of Foden, Pulisic, and Barcola. So let's see how we can balance the books here and confirm the transfers. So first of all, I think Foden, almost certainly will go for my team. And let's just look at the highest owned players, because if I want to just protect overall rank, if I was to be in that situation, looking at the midfielders, Musiala is the highest picked player, but then Bellingham is the highest picked player that I haven't got. So I'd have a full-on template midfield. Got Elise, highly owned as well, albeit by a large minority. Gittins, not really convinced by him, or Kimmich or Valverde. It kind of goes with the players I was looking at, really. Bellingham and Elise are the players that really spring to mind. I think Bellingham, for me, is the player that I'd really look at. Look at the form that's picked up as well for him in the Champions League, specifically from Atalanta onwards. That's 30, almost 30 to 40 points in his last four games. So if I just add it up correctly, 37 points. So I think he makes perfect sense as a player I'd need, especially at home. And then 2.2 million in the bank. Not going to change the strikers. It really is a case of dropping one of Barcola or Pulisic. And just look at Barcola's form in the Champions League. To be fair, that's only his first blank in 3 games, so probably wouldn't drop him. Look at Pulisic specifically. I think that match against Zagreb, he didn't even start, but then got a goal. It's really going all the way back to the match against Bratislava is when his form kind of like was okay, but it's been inconsistent, a combination of just being out of form and also injury as well. So I've got one free transfer left. Just remove Pulisic. I think I'll keep Barcola for now. And looking at the options that are available, I did say Elise. With Elise, looking at his last few matches, blanked in 2 of the last 3, but then he's known to pick up a haul here and there as well. Could I get Lookman against Bruges? Could be a potential option as well, actually. I haven't really given that too much thought. I know that Lookman had an injury issue when I was doing the actual draft before, and that is going to be food for thought for me. And I'll just confirm his stats here. That you can see that with Lookman, he did feature in the last match. His last match that he featured in was the 25th of Jan. So think he might still be somewhat of an injury issue. You can see their knee injury. He won't be available for this match. Again, I don't follow Serie A, so just thought I'd give that a quick just confirmation. So yeah, Lookman is not going to get a look in, pardon the pun. Got De Bruyne, again, fitness issues. There aren't really many others I could consider, just sorted by points. You've got Feyenoord's midfielder here, but not going to really factor him in. Tillman, I think he's not available. It really is Elise ultimately, who I'd probably just be pushed into going for. Not much else that I can really do. So, in fact, we'll bring up Elise's stats as well, just for comparison. So, Elise this season, 6 goals, 7 assists, started 17 games, subbed off early against Bayer Leverkusen on the weekend, which is great. Goal against Celtic. He's not really one that's going to be chipping in with the goals for fun, but as a supporting act against Celtic, you'd expect them to do enough, and it would be a massive shock if Celtic ultimately won that second leg. So I'm going to back Bayern Munich. Again, the option to have 4 players in this round makes sense to me. So I've got Musiala, Elise, Kane, and Kim. And of course, with Elise in particular, against Celtic in this second leg, playing on the 18th. So if it goes wrong, I can sub him out for the second match day. So goalkeepers, apply the filters. If I just deselect Di Gregorio for a moment, sort it by percentage owned. Cabell, am I going to consider him? Supporting at home? Probably not. Courtois, definitely not against Man City. Got Minen, could be an option at home to Feyenoord, but just lack of clean sheets is an issue. And got Hernandez as it is for cover. Could go Donnarumma, PSG against Brest. I think that could be an option for me as well. So let's just restore just goalkeepers for Rui Patricio. Of course, plays Bruges on the 18th, and with PSG, that match against Brest is on the 19th. So could start Rui Patricio, and then if I wanted to sell Di Gregorio, I could. So ultimately, I'm left with the choice of get Donnarumma in, but I wouldn't then sell Pulisic, who's at home. So that's, I mean, Foden out, Bellingham in, 100% confirmed. But ultimately, is it worth me doubling up on the defense from PSG? That is what I'm really grappling with at this moment in time. And with PSG in particular, I know that this is a different kind of PSG team altogether from like years gone by. But yeah, it's a tough one. 3-0 win against Brest, of course. They're not really known for keeping clean sheets this season. But again, the peace of mind here is that with Donnarumma, he's playing on the 19th. So if Patricio can't keep the clean sheet for Atalanta against Bruges, I can get him in. Or I get Elise. It's a tough one. It's really a case of, am I seeing another clean sheet for PSG, or can I see that Pulisic can outscore Elise and also outscore Donnarumma as well? So I look at the options I've got in defence. I've already got Atalanta cover, got Milan cover, PSG, single Bayern, single, well, Juve, I've got the double up. But again, the issue here is that with Juve, I had that double up for them, but then they're playing on the 19th this time around. And then Schlotterbeck, I've already got the cover for him. Again, that's what I'm really left with ultimately. So you kind of think with Brest, if they are up for the fight, they're not going to just go and give up. You'd expect them to at least put up a fight, perhaps score against PSG in the second leg. Had PSG played in the first match, I probably would have considered Donnarumma, but I'll probably deselect him. I'll stick with my original plan. So I think Elise and Bellingham are coming in. Of course, the way that UCL Fantasy works, 2 free transfers in the second playoff leg, and then for the next knockout phase, there'll be unlimited transfers once again. So confirm the transfers there. So sort it by date, and yep, Bellingham and Elise both playing on the Tuesday, so they're already locked in on the pitch there. Captain Kane remains the same. So let's do the famous super zoom in for UCL Fantasy Play Offs second leg. Kane, captain on Tuesday. Guirassy and Vinicius Jr. as my other strikers. Musiala, Bellingham, Elise all playing on the Tuesday, with Dembele playing on the Wednesday and being the potential second captain for the Wednesday, and the defence of Theo Hernandez, Hakimi, Kim, and Rui Patricio. And of course, if it goes wrong, I've got Di Gregorio, Gatti, Barcola, and Schlotterbeck to sub on. So there you have it. That is the team confirmed in the matchday playoffs. Let me know in the comments below what you think. Have I got the balance right? Have I got the balance wrong? I think the biggest miss clearly in this team is Haaland, but then I look at the players that are available. I think I'm fairly content with the base. I think he's the biggest miss. I'm already template as it is with the midfield. Got a lot of the template picks in defence as well, but just taking that risk going against Haaland, and hopefully Vinicius Jr. can outscore him once again, or outpoint him once again in UCL Fantasy. So there you have it. And what is your team selection for the second leg of the UCL Fantasy Playoffs? Take care and all the best.